Welcome back. I'm Brandon, the HBAR Bull, and I do some contract work for the HBAR Foundation. Today, we welcome Jon Stock, the CEO of the Metaverse community, Acme Labs. Thanks for swinging by, Jon.
Hi, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. So, Jon, to start off, you have plenty of impressive experience. Your resume includes things like being a senior manager of business development at AT&T. What exactly attracted you to getting involved in the metaverse?
Yeah. I'll give you the quick version of my background. I've kind of done a lot in my career. I've been in finance, I've been in big tech, been in the startup space. It was actually during my time at AT&T that I first got exposed to this like converging set of emerging technologies that I saw come in, which was augmented reality and virtual reality, or XR, and then some of the distributed ledger technologies, blockchain, et cetera. It was actually when I left AT&T, I ended up going to grad school at Harvard to focus on studying those emerging technologies. One of my favorite classes actually in grad school was called Breakthrough Innovation with Blockchain Technology back in like 2018.
Uh-huh.
And that's really what kicked off this kind of shift into this emerging tech space and building these startups.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So now can you tell us about Acme Labs and the Chuck Jones Gallery?
Yeah. So Acme Labs, this was born in about 2020. We originally had been connected to the Chuck Jones galleries via Craig, who's Chuck Jones's grandson and runs the family estate and the art gallery business. So he's got 30 years in the art business, and he's a real visionary and actually has a computer engineering background out of UCLA. And when we first connected, we were thinking about, how will we evolve the art business and the art gallery space? Like, how can we make better buying experiences? How can we add these technologies to solve problems within the art world? And so we've been working with him for a couple of years now, helping kind of figure out what should a metaverse type of experience look like for the art world. So it's been a long, fun partnership. And one of the great joys of my life actually has been building relationship with them and getting to solve some really interesting problems and build some cool stuff in the art space.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, how do you think about, virtual galleries and how you're going to present this art?
Yeah. So we think about the kind of a couple of different ways that these technologies matter, and then the types of experiences that we're able to create because of them. So, in one part of our platform, one part of the business that we're building is the experience layer. And that's where we use virtual reality and augmented reality and just 3D spaces built in game engines in order to connect people in real time. So you're able to do video chats and audio chats in these virtual spaces from whichever device you happen to be on. We use web-based, browser-based XR. And then in those spaces, the content that you see, whether it's artwork that's just physical and we have a digital representation of it, or it's NFT stuff that's digital first, all of that is what you're able to find and discuss and discover and ultimately buy in those experiences.
What you're actually building on Hedera is the Lost Wabbit NFT collection. Can you give us some more information about that?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of different things in the kind of gallery space. So part of what we do is when we're working with a gallery where they have a large physical collection, we use NFTs as essentially the provenance and authentication layer. So if you buy some, beautiful painting, for example, the current kind of model in the gallery space is you get a physical piece of paper that's your certificate of authenticity. We think that should be digitized, and instead of being on some central database and a piece of paper, it should be digitized and then added to a ledger. That's a much more efficient way of managing this whole provenance and authentication process of the art world. Separately from that, we're also working with the Chuck Jones estate around bringing one of his lost characters to the metaverse. So if you're familiar with Chuck Jones, you'll know that he's an animation legend who created a bunch of really great characters over his career. The rabbit is a character he created back in the 80s that's essentially just kind of been sitting in the vault looking for an opportunity to come to the world and do something cool. So we've been working with them around the Lost Rabbit project, which is this original cool character, and kind of doing like a Web3 native, Metaverse native launch for this character. So we've been working with one of their in-house artists who's been working with the Chuck Jones Gallery for a long time to help hand draw a bunch of additional elements that are part of the Lost Rabbit project. And ultimately, it's going to be a PFP project. So, NFTs, and then also physical prints. So you'll have both a digital side and a physical side associated.
Okay, I got you. So actually, I had no idea that this was a new character. I thought it was just Elmer Fudd looking for, the normal rabbits that we see in Looney Tunes. But so this is a completely new character that we haven't seen before.
Yes. So he's only ever been seen by the public essentially once before in the early 80s.
Okay. I gotcha. Now, you went down this road a little bit, but, Looney Tunes is some pretty coveted intellectual property. Can you give us a little bit of a deeper dive of how Acme Labs got access to create these NFTs?
Yeah. So again, we work with the Chuck Jones galleries, and it's through the gallery where they have the, licensing rights with Warner Brothers to do fine art prints and these sorts of things. So in the case of working with, any of Chuck's either original things or the animation cells, or the art prints or the paintings, what we're doing is adding the NFT layer for the provenance and authentication on the back end for those.
Okay, so the NFTs just kind of attached to the physical object, or do you buy the NFT and you automatically get the physical object? How does that all work?
So you're buying the physical object at the end of the day, and the NFTs serve as the provenance and authentication component for that. So you get a digital twin essentially of the physical thing. And then, so imagine it's a painting that you've bought. Now you've got an NFT, so a digital twin of it, and you've got the, your ownership record essentially on a ledger. So the other part of that is you're going to be able to have your own virtual showroom as a collector in the Acme Labs world, where all of the things that you've bought and collected, you'll be able to showcase those in these virtual spaces.
Okay, understood. So one of the standard questions that I get into when I give these interviews is, what made you decide to use Hedera? So what made you decide to mint these tokens using Hedera?
Yeah, so there was a couple of interesting things about Hedera in my background. So back when I was in grad school and taking that class on blockchain tech, that was actually the first time I did a deep dive into alternative distributed ledger technologies that weren't blockchain. It was actually my first exposure to the hash graph algorithm that Dr. Baird created. We thought it was a pretty elegant solution to, a Byzantine fault tolerant, consensus. So that was the first time I had gotten exposed to that. And over time, as we started figuring out, what business are we building on top of these different technologies, I really liked what I saw Hedera doing for a bunch of different reasons. We really like the idea that it is stable and secure, environmentally friendly, cost effective. So as an entrepreneur building a business, the things that matter the most to me are that I've got, a strong foundation to build upon. And I think Hedera has about the most advanced distributed ledger tech out right now.
Yeah, and I think my audience is certainly going to agree with you on that. So, what are some of the next steps for Acme Labs?
Yeah, so we have a lot cooking right now. So our core business is building out a platform for creators and builders and collectors to all come in and participate in this community that we're building. So we'll have a marketplace at its core, and all of the, NFTs and artwork that's available there is fed into our virtual experiences and into game engines. So we're able to create, experiences on one layer and then orchestrate all of the economic activity using distributed ledger tech on this other layer. Combining all of those together is where we think most of the magic's at.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. There's a lot going on in the gaming space. Did you just mention that you're doing some stuff with games?
Yeah. So in fact, our virtual galleries are built in a game engine, and that's just one type of experience that we can make. As we expand into other types of experiences, We will do more gamification, add more experiential things, do more storytelling. There's just an absolute ton of opportunity around, how do we use these technologies to create really cool experiences and engagement for people. So we also use augmented reality. I think you'll show at some point a clip of some of what we're doing with location-based augmented reality. And one example, for Comic-Con last week, we put together a location-based augmented reality experience that led people all around the gas lamp quarter in San Diego. And each time you got close enough to one of the characters or the objects we had there, you were able to unlock that and bring it into the real world and see it using AR. And so, when we think about how does that evolve, that's a way to gamify your real world experiences. And then a lot of the content that you would see there is also going to be NFTs.
Yeah, you guys have some amazing visuals. We'll make sure to get some up as a screen overlay to make sure everybody can see it. So how can viewers get involved?
Yeah, so we have basically the core things to remember and to get involved right now. If you want to go to acmelabs.xyz, that's currently where we are. That's the landing page where you can get all of the information, register for all of the additional info that we're going to be putting out. Lots of storytelling and fun happening there right now, especially in relation to the Lost Rabbit, as Acme's getting him out of his crate and launched into the world. And then that'll also be where we tell you dates on future drops, next steps that are coming. And then if you follow our Twitter or our Instagram, that's Acme Labs _TM. That is where we are, kind of communicating in social for everybody.
Things certainly seem to be heating up for you guys. Do you have any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah. One of the things that I'm most excited about is bringing in more artists, creators, metaverse builders, people that see the vision of what's coming and want to participate. And so as a community, that's one of the core things we're looking for. So if you happen to be a creator or a metaverse builder, or you want to be, kind of right at the point of the spear as this stuff is all coming through, come on, we want you.
All right, so calling all builders in this space. Jon, thank you so much for swinging by. This has been a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.